Colm Boohig is here to talk to us about a Wimbledon match, a second round Wimbledon match that actually is more hyped than most of your average second round Wimbledon matches because these two hate each other.
Yeah, this is going to be the match of the tournament, I would say, overall, in terms of excitement. These guys just fundamentally do not get along, and it all stemmed, we should get into it now, to listen to it first, to get some context for this beef.
We're talking Nadal and Kyrgios.
Nadal, Kyrgios. To get some context for the beef, Kyrgios did a podcast called No Challenges Remaining in Rome in May.
Okay.
And the presenter asked him to give his take on certain players, and he gave his take on Rafa Nadal, and this is what he said.
I'll go to Nadal next.
This is dangerous, but I don't know. He's my polar opposite.
Yeah.
Like literally my polar opposite. And I don't like, and he's super salty. Like every time I've beaten him, he always, when he wins, it's like, it's fine, you know, he won't say anything bad, like he'll credit the opponent, like he competed well today, he was a great player, but then as soon as I beat him, it's just like, he has no respect for me, like my fans, like, and I'm like, and no respect to the game, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I literally played this way when I beat you the other previous times and nothing changed, like nothing changed. When you beat me in Rome here a couple years ago, nothing changed, I was the same person. And then like...
You think it's that thing that I was saying before, like, because of what the visible effort you put in and don't put in, like it offends people when
Maybe,
you beat them.
but
Because
again,
he's like his whole thing is like, I work so hard all the time.
I understand that, but you can't. I feel like it just makes you look like it just doesn't. It's not a good look for you. I feel like he's just. And then Uncle Tony came out saying like he lacks education. I'm like, bro, I did 12 years at school, you idiot. Like, I'm very educated. Like, and like I understand like you're upset that I beat your family again, but like. I'm not going to be the same as like Nadal. Like I'm so different. Like we do things differently. Why can't we just accept that? Like you know what you're walking into when we walk out there. Like don't wait till you lose a match to say like things, because when I say something after I play him, like it's not going to get noticed as much. But when he says something, it's like that's the only thing that matters. Like they're like, oh yeah,
because he so rarely says things.
Correct. And then everyone's like, oh yeah, he must be right. Like this guy must lack education. He must like lack respect. And then like, and you're asking me like, why I do things, like, and why like I like go back at fans in the crowd, and that's why, because I'm just like, these guys show me no respect.
But no respect's a two-way street, right?
Yeah, but you notice there a lot of highlights, but one of them was every time I beat him, Kyrgios said. Kyrgios has beaten Nadal 3 times. But to put the whole thing into context, Nadal has 18 Grand Slams, Kyrgios is 0. But Kyrgios has this ability to be absolutely brilliant against the best guys, so he's created a bit of modern history for himself. He's the only guy to have beaten Federer, Nadal and Djokovic the first time he's played each of them.
Right.
And he's actually 2-0 against Djokovic, who's the world number 1. Now, if you thought that was bad what he said about Nadal, he says way worse about Djokovic in the same podcast. But also, it's very tough to encapsulate Kyrgios in one sentence. I tried to do it on offtheball.com with a feature about him. But I suppose the best way to put it would be that podcast was sandwiched in between round 1 and 2 of the Italian Open in May. In round 1, he beat Medvedev, who's number 11 in the world, hammered him. He tried his now famous underarm serve, his trademark, Kyrgios. The following day, he played a qualifier, Casper Ruud. He smashed his racket on the ground repeatedly, shouted into the crowd, threw his chair onto the court and walked off, didn't finish the match at all. And that is the Jekyll and Hyde of Nick Kyrgios. And even in the first round of Wimbledon on Monday, he lost his 4th set 6-love, won his 5th set 6-1. This is him. Yeah. This is what he does.
Yeah.
And last night, to prepare for this game, he went to the pub.
Did he? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, was he spotted?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's on the Australian this morning.
Yeah, presumes on purpose that he's doing.
Yeah.
What
I'd say it is.
He does this. He was asked in the same podcast, and he's actually been asked in several interviews, is the reason you do this that you don't prepare properly, that you don't really train, that you don't take it seriously, is because you're afraid ultimately of failure? And he didn't reject that claim, didn't reject the notion of it. You know, he is Marmite. I would say if you ask most people their opinion of him, it'll be more negative than positive.
But
he is box office.
Yeah.
He is box office.
What age is he?
24.
Okay,
but
so he's still, well, I suppose it's not young in tennis terms, but it's not old either.
Well, no, I mean, Federer's 34, 35, maybe
37.
37, Nadal's 33.
Yeah.
But Kyrgios made himself famous 5 years ago against Nadal at Wimbledon in 2014. He beat Nadal at 19. Wow. And that was obviously 5 years ago when Nadal was pretty much in his peak.
Top of his game.
Yeah, and Kyrgios beat him in 4 sets. 4 sets against Nadal back in 2014. That's some feat. So Nadal's scared of this guy.
Is it like, I think I used to love watching Wimbledon as a kid and everything else, but I think over the last, say, 7 or 8 years, kind of post-Agassi and stuff, there was obviously the rival between Nadal and Federer, but there wasn't that many characters in the game. Like, I mean, it had gone very, very samey, and Nadal's not a character, you know, and Federer is as straight as you get. Like, I mean, it's a perfect brand for all the Swiss sponsors. So he is something different.
He is. Well, the reason he has such a cut off Djokovic is he says that Djokovic is obsessed, has a strange obsession with wanting to be liked. So Kyrgios just says what he wants all the time. And people don't like that, and it's completely understandable. I mean, his post-match press conference on Monday, he beat his compatriot Jordan Thompson. That was box office. It's 6 figures on YouTube now. He was shooting down every question he didn't like from the journalists. Kyrgios, yeah, Nick Kyrgios. But Nadal, on the other hand, is so straight up, so straight edge, that these guys are total opposite. They have mutual respect, and Nadal, there's no doubt about it, Nadal fears this guy.
They respect as players, but they obviously hate each other.
Yeah, he was asked directly, do they dislike each other on Monday, Kyrgios, in the press conference, and he says, he kind of avoided the question, which is very unlike him, and he said, look, he's one of the best players of all time. And Nadal said, you know, this guy is a serious threat and I don't want to play him this early in the competition. Bear in mind, you have to remember, Nadal hasn't won Wimbledon since 2010. So he wants to win this. I mean, out of his 18 Grand Slams, 12 of them were on clay and French Open.
Is Wimbledon ever issue? Is it out of the hat type thing as regards, you know, where you meet guys?
He's seeded. It's seeded thing.
Right, okay.
Yeah, Kyrgios is unseeded. He's number 43 in the world. He was as high as number 13 in late 2016.
But he could easily beat him.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at all. We were just talking about it in the office before I came in. I mean, who's going to win today? My gut says...
Nadal's going to win.
Oh, I don't know. See, the only thing is Kyrgios...
Depends how many pints he had last night.
Well, Kyrgios played a 5-set match on Monday, okay, and that went to the wire. But he threw the 4th set. He could have finished that earlier.
Yeah.
Whereas Nadal, who played his first grass court match in a year on Monday, won in straight sets. So everything says Nadal. But I would not be surprised if Kyrgios came out to win.
What time are they on?
So it's approximately 4:15 on centre court, and actually, hopefully, it'll be delayed a bit so everyone can get to see this. This is without doubt going to be at the very least, the match of this week. But I would say it's going to be the most exciting match tournament. Wow. Like, there's no doubt, unquestionably, Kyrgios is going to do something that is outrageous, either positive or negative.
There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of hype. You're Don King.
I have no problem hyping it
full
this much.
Don King in this column.
I would say it all the time. Well, look, Alan said I'm a fanboy of Kyrgios. I'm actually not. I just find him interesting. It's going to be unbelievable.
Look, sports needs its assholes, and it's he is definitely tennis's. I just can't. I mean, I don't know.
I heard you say that earlier.
What do you know? I haven't really listened to him much, but even just listening to him there,
walking off in games.
Yeah.
The constant stuff with umpires when that's an old shtick, right? Like, get a new shtick.
Would people have said the same thing about McEnroe?
Yeah, exactly. But the difference is McEnroe won Grand Slams. Kyrgios, the furthest Kyrgios has gotten is a quarter-final of a Grand Slam, and the last time he did that was 4.5 years ago.
Did McEnroe win them instantly? You know, like did McEnroe come on the scene and just go bang?
Early enough, yeah.
He won them, yeah.
And he was
when Bjorn Borg retired, McEnroe.
Yeah, took over.
So Kyrgios, I was checking there. So Andy Murray's 25 when he wins his first Grand Slam.
Yeah.
And I've been knocking on the door. Like, Kyrgios is nowhere near that level of tennis player, and he gets too much hype, I think, because he's not as good as he thinks he is, even though he beats these guys sporadically. Like,
right,
a bit of a big time Charlie.
He's actually good friends with Andy Murray. Funnily enough, they're similar characters.
Are they?
Yeah, very similar characters. Kyrgios, I would say, has one of the most natural talents in the whole sport. On his day, he'll beat anyone repeatedly.
I realised about the Agassi's book,
Open,
was that there's so much. It's such a mental game. Like, they go in, and if I'm used to playing you because I've played you since we're 12, right? I know I have your number, and you know I also know. And actually, it's nearly done. Like, I mean, yes, you get upset, but there's a. I'd say if you were to go of all the sports, how many times does it go to script? Does it go to you've beaten me already? You're really good on clay. I'm not so good on clay, and you just do the job on me again. And there's moments in games, like in Agassi's book, you'll see where he's like, and this particular shot, and then I knew I had him, and it could be very early in a game. So I'd say he is the outlier that they're all kind of going, well, he could take me anytime.
Yeah,
which is a big thing to have.
He's going to do the underarm serve today, and Nadal is going to react very badly to it. It's going to be great.
Give you a prediction.
Kyrgios in 5.
Oh,
whoa,
that'll be good.